It might finally be happening. The oldest anarchy server in Minecraft is preparing to update for the first time since 2017. If you don't normally watch my videos, let me explain why this is such a big deal. While the general Minecraft community has been enjoying the Nether update for almost an entire year now and has been getting excited about the Caves and Cliffs update, 2b2t has been stuck in version 1.12 for the past 4 years. No oceans, no tridents, no nether biomes, no bees, nothing. Modern versions of the Java edition are notorious for having awful performance for large survival servers. It's become a long-running joke in the community that the server will never update. However, over the past month, the server's mysterious admin, Housemaster, has opened up an anarchy test server that has been running on the most recent version of Minecraft. Surprisingly, it has been running very well. Considering the last time a test like this was conducted, the server was brought to its knees by Kelp of all things. Having 300 players in a modern anarchy server at the same time is nothing short of a technical miracle. So is 2b2t's decade-old map finally updating? Will jokes like these in my comments section finally come to an end? Is today the day you'll finally hit that subscribe button? Well, today we're going to find out. We'll be discussing the history of every attempt that the server's made to update over the years, including the major obstacles that have been overcome from a technical perspective. We'll also discuss the final challenges that remain before the server is ready, and what you should expect if the server actually does manage to update. If you're an active player, let's just say you'll have to make some preparations and take some precautions. Pretty soon I might have netherite to keep me safe. Just like Dashlane can keep you safe online. Dashlane makes it easy to keep track of everything. They fill in all of your personal info like addresses, credit cards, and so much more. They have a VPN so you won't be tracked when browsing the internet and can access content in any country. They generate super secure passwords, plus the passwords that you store with them are encrypted, making a password manager the safest place to store your info. And the best part, it's free to download and install on your first device. Try Dashlane for free on your first device by going to dashlane.com/FitMC. It's a great way to support the channel. Now then, let's do this. Now, to understand why the server updating is such a big deal, you have to understand the history of 2b2t's testing maps and how rough it's been over the years. It all started back in November of 2018. It was announced that 2b2t would attempt to update to version 1.13, the update Aquatic, a version known for being absolutely awful for server performance. The community was excited, but cautiously optimistic. Eventually, Housemaster announced that the server would have brand new hardware and that a temporary map would be used to test the server's performance. It was intended to be opened in early 2019, but the release of the test map kept getting pushed back. Finally, on April 1st, 5 months after the original announcement, the test map was introduced for the first time, only lasting about 12 hours. Just as everyone had feared, the server struggled to run the update. While there were many issues, surprisingly, one of the biggest threats to server performance was the kelp plants introduced in the update. Their constant growth, plus the fact that there were so many of them all over the map, brought the server's performance to unplayable levels. It proved how much of a joke the update was for large-scale survival servers. House announced that updating the map to 1.13 wasn't possible at the time, but that they would continue to try. In that same month, Minecraft itself released version 1.14, the Village and Pillage update, which meant for the first time in the server's history, 2b2t was at least 2 full updates behind vanilla Minecraft. In June of 2019, it was announced that the server was likely to stay on 1.12 indefinitely, but that update attempts would be made if future versions were stable enough. A few months later, on September 1st, House would launch a dedicated testing server called test.2b2t.org, which would be used for trying out server plugins and features before pushing them to the main map. Even though the server had a lot of player activity, after about a month, it ended up shutting down. For the rest of 2019 and all of 2020, there was no word on any future tests. As more Minecraft updates continued to be released, it seemed like 1.12 would be the last Minecraft version the server would ever have. But in 2021, finally, there was a ray of hope. On March 9th of this year, players that still had the test server in their Minecraft clients noticed that it was back online, and to everyone's complete shock, it was in version 1.16, skipping all the previous versions that the server had missed. Word spread quickly and soon it was filled to capacity. The server was able to handle 300 players online at the same time and still run normally. Just 1 year ago, for an anarchy server, this would have been considered almost impossible. Something must have been done behind the scenes for this to work, because the only way you could describe it is magic or a miracle. Things that previously impacted server performance, such as kelp and unoptimized chunk loading, seemed to be a non-issue. But for all of March, 2b2t players played on the test map just like they would the original server. Players escaped spawn and obtained new items, map arts were created and traded, lag machines were built, and new 1.16 mechanics were experimented with. Even many of the major hack clients made versions compatible with 1.16. The server's spawn was starting to look more and more like the real thing. Elaborate bases were built, and then of course, in true anarchy fashion, they were destroyed. For the first time in many years, it seemed like updating was finally a real possibility. After a few weeks, the test server was brought offline, with House announcing that the old map had to be prepared for the next potential test. While it seems like the update might finally be happening, there are still some final challenges to overcome before the server can officially do it. As I just mentioned, the test server has gone offline to prepare for converting and testing a copy of the old map. This is going to be the most crucial part of the whole test. Running on a fresh server is one thing, but running the update on a decade-old map that's been through every major version of Minecraft is going to be something else entirely. The old map is what has always made the server so special, which is why it's so important that it can be brought into the modern version safely. If the map cannot be converted, the update will not be able to go through. Another challenge will be player count. The test map maxed out at 300 players online at the same time, which is actually higher than 2b2t's main map in 1.12. The server will need some serious optimizations if it'll be ready to handle this many people on the old map. And of course, don't forget all the potential game-breaking exploits that have been introduced into the game over the past few versions, so patches for them would have to be pushed quite quickly. So now let's say, hypothetically, the old map passes the test, all challenges are overcome, and the server finally manages to update. What should you expect as a 2b2t player? How can you prepare for the update both in-game and in real life? Well, first of all, get ready for queue times to skyrocket. The Nether update finally coming to 2b2t would mean many players that quit over the past 4 years from lack of updates would all be coming back at the same time. The longest that public queue has ever been was over 2,000 players, and there's a good chance this record will be broken if the server manages to update and all the old players come back to check it out. Another thing to expect would be the Nether highways becoming far more dangerous for a few weeks. As players rush away from spawn to find new chunks to mine netherite, the highways will be filled with geared players constantly in all directions, so if you plan to travel far out to obtain new items, make sure to be prepared and keep yourself safe. If you're an active builder on the server, the best way to prepare is to have plenty of shulkers on hand. Remember, the server going to 1.16 would mean we are getting the update Aquatic, the Village and Pillage update, the Buzzy Bees update, and the Nether update all at the same time, which means we will essentially be given hundreds of new blocks at once. This will open up a ton of new possibilities for builders, so make sure you can carry a lot of these new blocks. Even after doing all of these things, you must prepare yourself for a change in the server's hacking meta. Because it's an anarchy server, hacking has played a prominent role in the community for many years. In 1.16, there are some changes that experienced players will have to get used to. First off, many old hacks that were useful for base hunters, such as new chunks, will no longer work, making it harder to track down bases. Crystal combat has dominated the PvP meta for many years, but respawn anchor PvP might be taking its place. I've had the opportunity to see some Anchor PvP hacks in private, and all I can tell you is that it's scary how deadly it is. Even full netherite with maxed enchantments won't save you. This item could change PvP on the server forever, and I can see many hack clients attempting to implement it. With all that being said, the 2b2t community is incredibly nervous right now. The server is the closest it has ever been to updating past 1.12, and players have been given a taste of what modern anarchy in Minecraft is like. The coming weeks and months will be the most crucial. If the old map runs into problems, it's over, so everyone has their fingers crossed. If you want to be part of testing the old map, the IP is still test.2b2t.org, so when the server comes back up, you'll be able to try it out. I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but knock on wood, I can't help but feel like it might actually be happening this time. As always, I will keep you updated, and if you enjoyed the video today, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also make sure to follow me on my socials, but that's it. Take it easy, Fit Fam, and stay alive out there.